Sattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Namaste, Janki. This is Samta from US. I'm joining for the first time today.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. What did you say?
This is Samta. I'm joining from US. I'm joining for the first time. But though I've been following you on YouTube, so I just wanted to, I had a general question and I wanted to brief that how I got to your class is this is just through COVID. I got like thyroid and I started doing hot yoga. And then I got introduced to by my friend and it worked. It healed me in a year. Everything was normal. So I gave me belief that if one part of Vedic science is so true, let me dig deep. What more isn't there? Because growing up, we were just typical temple going, asking God, and coming back. And then my friend introduced me to Swami Sarpriyananda Vedanta, and I also learned Hatha Yoga at Sadhguru Isha Center. So I'm following that ardently for 2 years. It gave me discipline. And I heard your talk with Swami Sarpriyananda on this book, and so I started following on YouTube. But I always wanted to join the class, but had the doubt, is it okay that I can continue my Hatha Yoga, follow Sadhguru, follow Jnana Yoga through you? Or so I thought I've been Eklavya, but I'll ask Gurumacharya first, that is it okay for me to take all hand in hand?
It all depends on you. How can anyone? I mean, it depends on your comfort level.
It
Yes,
seems
of
to be
course.
working. As I said, that Hatha Yoga has given me discipline. So it feels easy that I can incorporate um, this Jnana Yoga in my daily routine. And at the same time, I feel like I can support Safe Soil for Planet Conscious and Vedanta University because our planet needs both. So,
Sounds good to me.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, so where were we? We were studying how. Firstly, apologies for this last minute change in class. I hope everybody got the information. But the team was superb. Our Zoom account collapsed on us, but our most efficient team has managed to keep the class going in spite of all whatever was going on behind. So now what we doing was that we studied how we tend to not think about happiness as a subject, and we tend to be quite casual in delegating our happiness to others. When I say casual, it means that we do not take the trouble to find out whether that object or being is worthy of my keeping my happiness in its or his or her hands. I don't find that out. I'm pretty much random in leaving my happiness in somebody or something's hands. So we need to think about this and be careful that we are handing such an important aspect of our life to something or somebody. That's why we have to study it. Otherwise, what if we don't do this? What we find is that happiness becomes very fragile. However, happiness is not an optional thing. If we are not happy, I mean, like, why are you even alive, kind of thing? Because happiness is your birthright. It is what you need, not just something nice to have, but it is a necessary part of human life. It has to be that we are always with a certain degree of inner cheer or equanimity or whatever life throws at us, we are still good with it. Many people believe that no, life is full of problems. And so it's impossible that we are going to be always happy. That's not really true. Life is full of problems is true, just as the whole team experienced today. That much is true. But that should it make us unhappy? That is not true. That we should lose our equanimity? That is not true. We just cannot afford to crumble every time something goes wrong, or for that matter, even right. Some people crumble when it goes right. Some people crumble when it goes wrong. Well, neither case. Okay, so far so good. Any questions up to this point? All right, then let us proceed. A personal responsibility.
Ma'am?
Yeah? Go ahead.
Yeah, when we say happiness does not, we are the source of happiness, and happiness does not depend on any external things, beings, or objects. When we say that, I was just thinking about it. And then, yeah, it's all fine. But if you take drugs, to say that happiness is not there, maybe temporary, but to say that that object doesn't have that, to the extent I went was, okay, if you don't have the right kind of receptors for that particular uh, thing, then we will not get. So again, it's dependent on you. But there's no connection with the thought or anything like that, right? It's all biochemical, and it's definitely dependent on my biochemistry and the biochemistry of the object.
True.
So how do we say happiness is not non-existent in an object?
Haven't we covered that somewhere? Should we do it now? I think it's covered somewhere in the book. Just try and remember. What you're saying is true. If anyone tells you there's no happiness outside, their obvious reaction will be, that's silly because I just ate a mango. The mango was wonderful. I loved it and I had a good time. I don't know why you need to go all the way to drugs, but for everything, right? No, mango is okay.
No. That's not mango. The same that mango for someone else is not. It's not true. But drug is true for everyone,
Drug is true
unless
for
they have
everyone.
some biochemistry gone wrong. A drug is quite different from mango. Some people like mango, some people hate it, But drug is not like that. It's uniform for everyone gets a high. If you take it knowingly, unknowingly, you get a high.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll take your word for it.
No, I'm not taken. People say, okay.
But it's quite how should we put it? Yes, what you're saying is true. The biochemistry of the drug will deal with the biochemistry of your brain and give you certain reactions. That's true. So where is the problem with it? The problem is, how is something making me feel happy when I'm not capable of happiness? Is that your problem? I mean, unless it was within me, how can I have it? Is that the question?
No, happiness seems to be in objects also.
Okay, but specifically for drugs, you're saying?
Yeah.
Specifically,
other things I'm able to reconcile.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
the way
a girl or
drugs,
someone, it all depends,
the way drugs give you happiness is exactly the same way anything else gives you happiness. Where does the happiness come from? When you are agitated and the agitation's drop, you experience what is known as happiness. So, what is the drug doing to you? It's altering the biochemistry of your brain so that the thoughts which you have are temporarily clouded over. You can't have them. And so you experience what is known as happiness. This is the same whether it is altering biochemistry, just directly in the brain, or whether it is because you had a mango. It is the same thing. If there was an agitation preceding it, and this thing happened, you won't feel happy. So it is actually the same thing. It just seems different because the object is different. You think that no, but some people don't have a desire for mango, so it won't make them feel happy. True, but so when you say don't have a desire, that means there was no agitation preceding it, so therefore no experience of happiness. So it comes
No,
to
yeah, in the drug, even when the person is not aware he's taking, someone spikes it in his drink or food.
But why is that
So there's no question of thoughts.
No,
Means there's no desire for it. There's no desire for it, and then the desire is quenched, and therefore the happiness arises. There's no such thing like this because the person is not even aware he's going to get the drug.
True, but the fact
And yet
remains,
he gets here.
where is the agitation deriving from? From the presence of thoughts. This thing is preventing you from thinking, and therefore you're experiencing happiness. The thought level itself is dropping. Your conscious thought just keeps dropping. It's similar like as you go to sleep also, the conscious thoughts keep dropping.
Yeah.
The same thing.
So yes, ma'am.
And so the agitation.
So then the object is capable of doing that. And therefore the object has that power, isn't it? We say that the object is not power, everything is in me.
Go step by step. So yes, what it does is it prevents your brain from allowing your thoughts to manifest in it. Okay, see, your mind moves your hand. Okay, I tell my mind, wave my hand, so my hand me waves. All right. Now suppose my hand somebody ties. Now my mind is saying wave the hand, but my hand is not moving because it's tied. What has tied it? A rope has tied it. A gross object can hold a gross object. So the biochemistry of the brain and of the drug, gross object and gross object means physical matter, affects each other. Nothing has actually happened to your thoughts because the moment this this effect is removed, the same thoughts will come right back. But what you've done is prevented manifestation. So end result is the same. Same like if you were in a coma. I mean, medically induced coma. So you had thoughts, you have a medically induced coma, thoughts are closed. After that, then medically induced, the medication wears off, or anesthesia, whatever. It wears off, the same thoughts come right back. But what has happened is you have prevented its manifestation by adjusting the gross thing.
People who undergo anesthesia, do they have a high?
Not high. See the concept. A gross matter can affect gross matter. So many different kinds of things can affect your brain. When they affect it in that manner, your thoughts are not allowed to manifest. There's no high. I'm just talking about how a gross matter.
So therefore,
gross matter can affect gross matter, right? So basically, you're not allowing that gross matter to manifest your thoughts. So you're not experiencing thoughts. And so you
so
get.
I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling happy. And the cause of that happiness was that drug, not me. Because that drug made me not manifest my thoughts. It's not me who stopped manifesting the thought. Therefore, that drug is becoming the source of my happiness, isn't it?
No, it is a source of happiness in a vicarious manner, just like everything else is. The mango also is a source of happiness in a vicarious manner. For those who
mango, a lady,
about it,
these things are
listen to
different,
the points and think about
they're very
because
personal, they're subjective. But this is very objective. It's a science, no, ma'am.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know how else to say it. Gross matter can affect gross matter. And when it affects it, it can prevent manifestation of what is within you. It can prevent that manifestation. That is all it can achieve. Like everything else, it's the same principle. Anyway, think about it, because just my repeating it won't give the answer. If you think about it, and bring it up next time. Okay, so where were we? So personal responsibility. Taking personal responsibility for your happiness is the first and most important thing. When life is in disarray, we fret. Things go wrong with life, right? It's not like every time life goes properly. So when that happens, we are always fretting and fuming about it. How can one be happy under such adversity? And then we think to ourselves, how is it even possible? So much adversity all around me. How am I going to be happy? My finances are not working, my relationships are failing, my health is terrible. How do you expect me to be happy under these circumstances? And everyone will say, of course not. How can you be? But the point is not that. If everything around us is failing, is a mess, that necessitates the question, how did the situation come about? How did things in my life become so messy? Did we create it? Did we exacerbate it? Why that debt or this bad marriage? How come this illness or that problem? Let us spot our participation in it. Why do I have all these problems? I must think about that. If we identify our patterns, we can remove them. Or conversely, we can endlessly find excuses for the mess and never put the responsibility squarely where it belongs, on ourselves. Yet, we may plaintively argue, how can everything be my fault? What if somebody died or something unexpected happened? Like COVID, for instance, and totally unexpected. How can that be my fault? How can that be my doing? Think and reflect repeatedly. Where did I go wrong? What could I have done differently? See, we all think that it's not my fault. All these things happen to me. And we say, what is this thing? When you say happiness is my responsibility, how? COVID happened. How is that my responsibility? Or these Gaza happened. How is that my responsibility? Or a million things keep happening all around us, right? So how on earth can you call it my responsibility? I'm the last person responsible for all of this. So let's see. Everyone is capable of happiness and is sufficient for it. Isn't that seeming a bit odd? Something went wrong here, Momita. Everyone is capable of happiness and is sufficient for it. He who is unhappy has shirked the primary duty of a human being. Okay, this line is clear, I guess, to everybody, right? Everybody is capable of being happy. And if you're not, you're shirking the primary duty. Why this line is here, I do not know. The flow of thought continues below. Suppose a business got wiped out because of a change in the market. The person didn't do anything wrong or commit errors. But take a moment to think again. See, a business got wiped out. Why? There was a change in the market. The person hadn't done anything wrong. Now think again. Is not anticipating market changes a part of the job? Shouldn't we have contingency plans? What about a dear one passing away? How is that my responsibility? You know these quotes which you suddenly see over here, They are in the book like this. I don't know why in the electronic version they are not there, just so that you know. Okay, this is a quote. It's not like part of the text. It's part of the text somewhere else. Just so that you know why suddenly the great sage Ramatirtha came along. It's a quote. What about a dear one passing away? How is that my responsibility? Here are some ideas to consider. Did we think humans were immortal? Did we believe everything in life is predictable? Do humans come with a fixed expiry date? Is there some date that is written on all of us? Okay, expiry 24th November 2047. Do we come like that with a date? Thus, errors could be either commission or omission, things we did and the things we didn't do. In either case, we need to course correct if we don't want to repeat the consequence. Is this topic clear? It just says that it's my responsibility. Don't tell us all the problems that happen. If at all problems happen, find out why did they happen. What was my participation? What was my role in it? For instance, the two examples given. One is a business. The business crashed. So what was my participation in? What could I have done different? Or a very close person to me passed away. So what is my participation? I'm not anticipating, right? I just don't anticipate anything about life. I go through life feeling that it's going to be one fairy story. There's uh, how much anticipation a sattvic person does. For instance, have you all written your wills? And if you haven't, aren't you leaving a problem behind? Have you considered what will happen to your spouse after you're no more? Have you created dependency in the other person so that life will be very difficult for the other person? Actually, know a lady, she was so devoted to her husband that whole life long she did everything for him, like everything. I mean, everything to the point. It's not like she like a good Indian wife, cook the food and put it on the table. No, he will not eat it until she herself puts the food in his plate. When he goes for a bath, she has to take out clothes and keep them out for him. Nothing he is to do. Nice, no, to have a wife like that. We all like to have a wife like that. But the trouble is, eventually she passed away. He couldn't survive. He passed away a few months later. I'm not making up this story, it's real. He just can't survive. Can you imagine if somebody's just doing everything for you and then suddenly the person is not there? What are you going to do? You don't know how to deal with life. Amazing. So, how much have we anticipated? How much have we thought forward? How much have we considered what are the things that are likely to happen? Have we not all considered that all 50% of us in this classroom in due course are either going to be dead or we are going to be widowers? Only two options, right? Have you considered it? Have you considered what you will do under both circumstances? Just looking forward. All of us in this classroom are growing older. Is anyone over here growing younger? Nobody, no? Please let me know if anyone here is growing younger. All are growing older. How have you anticipated what those future years will be? What have you done about them? Then when they land up upon us, we say, oh my God, look what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to me? When you're very young and you're being vain, oh, I have such beautiful hair. I look so pretty. You're being vain about it. Do you anticipate that in the next 20, 30 years, how you're going to feel? So anticipating is a big part of sattva. Just anticipating what is likely to happen. You're not making bhavishyavani and making predictions, but just anticipating, common sensical. If this body, okay, let's anticipate. What is likely to happen to us? Most of us probably will live till, let us say, something around 100. If at 100 we have to be healthy, that means what do I have to do today? Otherwise, you'll be 100-year-old. They'll keep you alive because medical science keeps us alive. But the quality of our life is up to us. Keeping you alive is up to the doctor. He'll do something or the other. What quality we live with is up to us. Right? So anticipate, anticipate, anticipate. And that works in all things, including work, including traffic. Some people are habitually late. No matter what time you tell them they'll come late. Why do they come late? They're incapable of anticipating. If you were, then I was going to leave at 9 and I got ready to leave at 9, but what can I do? This person came, this phone call came, this happened, that happened, that happened. Are you living in a vacuum? Obviously, things will happen. You always have to keep a buffer for them, isn't it? So, when we talk about taking personal responsibility, we have to say, look, I'm participating in this mess. I'm participating. If I refuse to admit I'm participating in it, I can make excuses forever. Okay, is that clear? Personal responsibility could be either omission or commission. The sole pursuit happens. There's only one pursuit. Actually, by the way, I want to ask you all a question before I proceed. It appears to me that this book is very simple, and I don't know whether any explanation is required. So you will have to guide me as to whether any further explanation is required or it's all simple and we can go ahead quickly. What do you all think? It's too simple for explanation?
Ma'am, a lot of doubts are coming, but I don't want to disturb the flow, because as you read, things are coming. No, we said nothing is going to come from the objects, nor from the business of that person. Then why talk about why we are dragging him into responsibility of fixing his business? It's not necessary, right? The whole track is different. Happiness got nothing to do with his business. That is what we should be teaching him. Why are we telling, okay, fix your business? That is your responsibility. Happiness is my responsibility. And to get happiness has got nothing to do with the business doing good or bad. That is what we should be communicating.
Yes and no. Life doesn't go like in black and white lines. We can go on announcing happiness doesn't come from the external world, but that is not the experience of people. So, what is the use of talking about it? So, we have to go step by step. Actually, it's a good question. If you think about it, you can go on claiming that it's not in the external world. But the fact of the matter is that we are getting it from the external world. Whatever we're getting from the external world currently. For instance, you say, I like to go to nice natural places. I feel very happy in natural places. But that natural place is the external world, right? Suppose you say, I like to sit at home and be alone. Right? But that is also external world, right? So happiness being within is a very, very high level thing where no matter what is going on, you are not affected. But that's not where you start with. Where you start with is you make sure that no nonsense is going on in the world. So why should I start like that? Because what gives you happiness is actually your control over your own mind. Now, you cannot control your mind unless you have learned how to control the physical thing, action level. If you're creating problems around you, that means your actions are ungoverned. So you have to start from there. You have to make sure that you are doing the right action consistently. You start from there. And then the internal happiness is a byproduct of living that type of life. Okay? It's good. I mean, it's a very good point to say that on one hand you say it's within, on one hand you say control, anticipate. Array, make up your mind, you want me to anticipate or you want me to look with it.
So Janki,
Yes, go ahead.
is it right to say that, like you said, one point says organize your external situations and that will make you happy, but that happiness is temporary. What we are trying to teach a person, if you eventually organize your internal self, that happiness will be more permanent, and that's our final goal. But you start with your external and then move internal for permanent.
Correct. Because in external balance is the result of our actions being correct. And our actions being correct is the result of me being able to control my mind. Right? So if you don't know that, you're not going to find eternal happiness.
Right. And but you have to switch the external to internal soon, because again, if you just keep chasing external, that is still is going to give you more agitation.
No, here you're not chasing external. You are moderating your behavior in the external world so that you're not creating confusion there. You're not creating a messy situation and then
Instead
saying,
of
oh,
unorganized, you're making it more organized.
you're
And
making it organized, you're making it more happy, you're making your relationships better, your work better, you're doing the whole rigmarole. Why do our relationships fail after all? Why does my business fail? Because I am getting carried away by my mind and I don't recognize this. That is why they say, oh, this is all high level stuff. What is practical? That's because there's such a big gap between controlling your mind and where I am currently. So
right.
first,
But sometimes happens in practical life, we get so stuck in organizing that external that we forget that I have to move beyond and go internal too, and just be engaged in that.
no, there is no such thing as internal. Remember that. It is always external. You're always managing things. And to manage things, your intellect has to be on top of your mind. Otherwise, what internal are you going to do? Just sit down in meditation and feel nice? That's not internal. That will get disturbed very quickly. Let somebody come into the room. You get disturbed. That's not what we're looking for.
So we're looking external, but they're looking it to do right way. Like you in your other classes say, just connecting it instead of yoga, make it yoga. That is doing still external, but doing it the right way.
That's right. And as you keep doing it the right way, your fascination for it comes down. See, who's fascinated with money? People who don't have enough. So, what is that enough? That enough is your mind is under your governance. So, when you are very carefully moderating your behavior with reference to money, the first thing that happens is your money is in a good situation and you lose your black market value.
Thank you.
Ma'am, that has got a risk. You get your money, it doesn't stop with the money. We know desires multiply. Once it's a dangerous path to go, isn't it?
No.
It's not that you're okay, it no more troubles you. You may go on a rampage on that side, wanting more and more and more and get into that trap.
Krishnan, think about what you're saying. Does the intellect go on a rampage? When you're managing, are you going on a rampage?
No, here
Think about what you're saying. What has
You
been,
got the money, but does it stop with that?
no, not the money. It is your relationship. You're managing it. You are thinking that if I'm earning money, I'm going on a rampage and I'm messing up. No, those people who earn money or work in whatever manner so that they get money and they do it in an intellect-based manner, they are least fascinated with it because they've understood the cause and effect. They know exactly how to get it. They have no fascination with it. In India, they kept saying, "Oh, what's there in money? What's there in money?" You know why Indians said that? Because we were such a rich country. No poor person can say what's in money because he knows what's in money. Where are you? Are you in Mumbai?
But very.
Are you based in
No,
Mumbai?
I wish I was in Mumbai. I'm Coimbatore.
Oh, Coimbatore. Okay.
Coimbatore.
So, whatever we don't have and we don't know how to access, we in our mind create a hawa about it. We create a black market value for it. We think, oh my God, if I had that, I'd be so happy. All this is the result of a wrong relationship with things. But when you start relating to them correctly,
While that is true,
when you relate to it correctly, the first result is you are able to achieve it. You understand the cause and effect. It means nothing to you because you know how to get it. And secondly, you lose this great enthusiasm for it. You're just not interested.
no, there only the point. Yes, the point is taken. If you don't have it, you have a fascination for it, and the mind is occupied with it. But when you have it, and you have used cause and effect, and you have studied how to make money, the cause and effect doesn't stop with that. We would like to know more deeper. The person who is the 10th richest want to become the 9th richest. He goes deeper into cause and effect. He tries to understand how to make it even more. He goes into that he will stop his fascination on the money is not true. More often he's going deeper into that, using his intellect, but is trapped there, thinking that is the way, and everything will happen.
If you say he's using his intellect,
so that's a dangerous thing. Yeah.
No, why? Why is that dangerous?
When he uses his intellect and he keeps on trying to make find cause and effect, how to more and more money.
You're repeating. Why is it dangerous?
He's into the same trap. No.
What trap? You're given. Remember, you're saying he's using.
It's after money. He thinks more money will give him happiness. He thinks more money will give him happiness. And by the time he realizes, he becomes number one.
Where is the intellect in your thing?
No, intellect is busy. Intellect is busy thinking that if I make more money, I'll be happy, and therefore finding cause and effect, how to do business much more better. Intellect is stuck with that.
That is the mind, not the intellect. The intellect is capable.
Mind will not find cause and effect, no, ma'am. Mind is not interested in cause and effect.
Krishna,
It is likes and
me too much. It's my karma. When the mind has fixed the goal and superimposes upon the intellect that you get this for me, this is not intellectual. Intellectual is you're able to think it through. If a person believes that if I get money, I'm going to be completely happy, where is his intellect functioning? It's a very small, narrow thing that's functioning, and the reason it's functioning is because the mind has said you have to go beyond this. It's desire propelled. It's not intellect. And if it is intellect, and he thinks that this is what I should be doing, then what's wrong with that? There's no problem with that. What's wrong with earning more money? Let him earn more money. Good for him. Maybe you donated to Vedanta University also. Who knows? But there's no problem in that. The problem is when your mind
is not making more. The problem is he's thinking more money will make him happy. That is the problem. Ultimately, he'll shoot himself.
No such thing, Baba. Where do you get the emotions from? If he functions on the mind, regardless of whether he chases the money or not, he may want to shoot himself. If he functions on the intellect, regardless of whether he chases the money or not, no such result will come. There's not like it's not unreasonable, the whole thing that, oh my God, you and where will you draw the line? So much money is okay. After that, it's not okay. Where are all these lines drawn? Who draws them? And how can anybody draw it for anybody else? We're not passing any value judgments over it. If you think that something is going to go wrong, then you have to prove that how is that thing going to go wrong? The only way things go wrong, you follow the mind, your desires increase. You follow the intellect, your desires will reduce. That's simple. Now, how is all that happening? Don't get into. We are going to do. Okay. So there is only one pursuit that we are all engaged in, and that is the pursuit of happiness. Every single thing we do is motivated only by this quest. Every choice, conscious or involuntary, of action or inaction, whether of taking or giving, working or idling, and whether principled or criminal, is made for its sake. Every type of action, every type of choice is only made for that. A person marries, why? To find happiness. And then divorces, why? Again, chasing happiness. Liberals want things to change. Conservatives want a status quo. Why? The means are different, but the end we all struggle and strain towards is the same. You all never answered my question on whether you think any explanation is required or not for this.
Janki ji, sometimes you say things which go deeper than what the book, I mean, in the sense with examples. So it's nice if you can.
There is an explanation. Okay, fine. That is one person. Nobody else seems to think so. Because it's sometimes just.
Yes, explanation would be better.
Yes.
Please explanation. That's what we like, your insight, wisdom to the topic.
Okay. All right. So I guess the pace is okay in that case. The means are different, but the end we all struggle and strain towards is the same. A person struggles to earn money. But why does he want the money? You think now, you say, no, I don't want happiness. I want X or Y or Z. So let's say a person wants money. You ask, do you want happiness? No, I want money. A person struggles to earn money. But why does he want money? To buy a car. But why does he want to buy a car? To impress his partner. But why does he want to impress his partner? To be happy. Dig a little deeper, and at the bottom of everything is a single motive, the search for happiness. The whole world wants to be happy. This is very important. The whole world wants to be happy. The richest and the poorest, the sinner and the saint, the believer and the atheist, all humanity seeks happiness. What does that mean if you really think about it? If we all are seeking happiness, what does it really mean? What does it imply? It implies that we don't have enough of it. Otherwise, why would you seek it? If you've eaten your full meal and you're satisfied, will you seek out more food? They're all, the whole world, richest and the poorest, the sinner and the saint, the believer and the atheist, all humanity seeks happiness. This search is incessant and occupies our earthly hours from birth to death. It has been the single pointed pursuit of all living beings from the dawn of time. Where from the first time any creature landed over here, however that creature landed, they have been looking for happiness. Early humans set off from Africa in the hope of happiness. Today, humans are setting off to Mars in search of it. Homo sapiens have done nothing else since they first walked this beautiful earth. And yet, isn't it amazing how few claim to have found it. Claim, just a claim. Such few people claim to have found it. Just because somebody has claimed doesn't mean he's found it. But even the claim is so rare. Isn't it a strange indictment of humanity that we are still quite hazy about happiness? Our transportation, governance, wealth, products at all have had amazing progress. But we remain where we are, still struggling to fulfill the same basic need. Isn't it? Think about it. Your great great grandfather, what did he have? And grandmother also. What did they have? What was their life? You know, at some point, they did not even have a bathroom in their house. There was no such thing as a flush tank. Flush tank must have been invented, no? There wasn't even that much. I mean, what you would think is the most basic need today, right? There were no air conditioners, there were no fans, there was no electricity. But suppose I were to ask you, were those people happier then, or are we happier now with all that we possess? What would your answer be? Some people will say those were happier. Some people will say, no, maybe we have the same happiness. But hardly anyone will say we are happier. But the thing remains, the point remains that all this development, how much happier? You know, I was in the US just last month or something. A lot of development. And as much development as there is that much grumbling and complaining. It's an amazing thing. You go to US, you come to India, everybody is complaining. They're complaining about different things, but they're complaining. It's incredible. Momita, are we error prone because we do not know that we want happiness and not the objects we think we want? No, we do want the objects we think we want. I mean, why would we think we want it if we didn't want it? The problem is our understanding determines our wants. So if our understanding is flawed, then what we want is flawed. Suppose I want to get married, and my concept is I'm going to marry the richest person I know, and that will give me happiness. Then my understanding is flawed, so my desires are flawed, so my actions are flawed. When my understanding itself is right, then I will want the right things, I will do the right things, and I will get the right results. That is what education is all about, right?
Yeah, but supposing I think that I want this thing because I want to be happy, then will I make fewer errors?
No, because your recognition of what will give you the happiness is what is the most important. Suppose you say, I want money because it will make me happy. So I recognize that. But I've recognized it incorrectly. So therefore, I will get a restricted form of happiness. Then I will move from that and say, no, what will I do with money? I want a good family. That will make me happy. Then I will chase that. But that is also a restricted form of happiness. So again, I will meet some problem. Then I'll say, no, it's not in money or family. It is in social work. Then I'll go chasing social work. Then I will get beaten up there. Then I will start thinking, oh, no, this is not right. I should go back to family or back to money, something. So the understanding is flawed. And therefore, we keep doing strange things in our pursuit of happiness. Really
Okay.
strange things.
But if we, so supposing I know that I want happiness, then I look for an expert on happiness.
Yes.
And then therefore,
Find out the causation. What is it that gives happiness? Which is what we are hoping to do in this classroom. That's
No, but
fine.
so once I know that it is happiness I want,
Mhm.
then it naturally follows that I will look for who can give me advice, who can teach me on, how to find this happiness.
That's
Mamita, you
assuming
already
you
found
have
the person, haven't you? You're in the class with that person.
that assumes that okay, thank you. But that assumes, Mamita, that your understanding is correct. You can pass a person, okay, take Duryodhana. He was as much in the presence of Krishna as Arjuna was. But Duryodhana chose Shakuni and he was following him. So,
But then he didn't know that he wanted happiness. He thought he wanted the kingdom and power.
yeah, I mean, if you're asked him, would you want to be happy, as if he's going to say no.
But
But
he wasn't directly aiming for happiness, is my
and
point.
no one can. No one can aim for happiness directly. It's not a possibility. When you aim for the right things, happiness is the byproduct. You can't get happiness directly. Those who try to get it directly are the ones who are failing. Happiness always is a byproduct. But we are going ahead. So let us answer. Happiness comes from outside, but bliss comes from within the self. For the purposes of our class, we use happiness, bliss, satisfaction, contentment, everything to mean exactly the same. Now I know that's a difficult thing to swallow, so we will deal with it. Please, everybody, the book is explaining every bit of what y'all are asking. Andresh, you also have a question?
Yes, thank you, Janki ji. Within this discussion, a question came to me is that if we are pursuing happiness through spirituality, through the Vedanta tradition, for example, for people who are grounded in our education system, who are taught to succeed and work hard, you get to a certain point where you're like, I want to do something else to gain more success, and that's for happiness again. But the problem is that then you understand that no, this might not be the right place. You get it through the spirituality, and then it feels as if you're being lazy, or you're not you're not being productive.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer to that was karma yoga, but then it's very hard to figure out what is the karma yoga and which one, because I don't want to go and start doing some charity work when my heart might truly not be in it, right? I might want to pursue an MBA or something, but it just doesn't. I mean, the main question is, how do we make sure it's not like we're not going down some romantic path and it's not the true Vedanta?
Well, what can I say? You have to make sure that you're doing your morning studies, understanding things. You know what is morning studies, right? You've been attending classes. Okay, so all
Not particularly, just to say.
okay.
I just attended one class so far.
Okay. So the most important aspect of Vedanta studies is getting up between 4 and 6, or as close to it as it is possible, and opening your books and studying the subject. Studying it means 20% reading, 80% thinking. So you to sort of interact with the knowledge, not memorize it because you heard it so many times. It's not parayan. You have to interact with that knowledge. Your own thoughts have to interact with it. So keep reflecting, keep thinking. And as you keep thinking, true knowledge dawns. What you get in class is tuition. What you get out of reflection is intuition. So that's the true knowledge which dawns on you. It's your wisdom. Now, following that wisdom, it's like you got a torch. Now, following that torch, you do what, according to you, is the most useful thing to be done. You're not doing spirituality, you're just resting and enjoying life. You're doing what, according to you, is the most useful thing to be done. And you have a reason why you think that's useful. For instance, we have thought for our Karma Yoga that we should set up the world's first Vedanta university. That is the reason we think that. I think that's the maximum benefit you can give for the maximum number of people for the longest period of time. Okay, all other problems will become subservient to this problem. In the sense, all other solutions are a subset of this solution. So you think about it. What according to you is the most important thing you can do? And you do it. And that's called karma yoga. Okay, it's not just you go and do some charity or something or some social work. Like you really thought this thing through. Okay.
You have to think it through. You have to sharpen your intellect before you get to it, I guess.
Yeah. Don't immediately start doing stuff. You first figure things out a bit. And of course, you can't figure out the whole journey, but you figure what you figure and you do that a bit. It's like the headlights of the car. You understand something, you do that little bit, and then you will understand some more.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Taruna, you had raised your hand.
Yes, Shanti. You said no one can aim the happiness directly, but you do the right action, then happiness will be the outcome. But when a person who's full of desire and we genuinely believe that this will bring me happiness, to that person, how difficult it is for him to do the right action.
Right
Or
action. How will you define right action, Taruna?
which is intellect driven.
That's correct, but how will you define it? So you can do, I mean, you can say so many things are intellect driven. So how do you define right action? What is the definition of right action?
That
It should
takes you
be your
towards the
goal
goal.
oriented, which
Correct.
takes you towards your goal, right?
Correct. What are you people have forgotten all this? Basics have all gone. What is a right action? An action that takes you towards your goal is a right action. Right? So you have to have, your intellect has to have two capacities. Figure out what is a worthy goal and figure out what is the step that takes me there. If your intellect has done these two things, okay, and as it does these two things, it becomes stronger and stronger.
Right.
You can't say it's not in a vacuum that you do right action. You have fixed yourself a goal, you have worked towards it, and in your attempts of working towards it, you have strengthened it because you used it.
Right. Thank you.
Now, two hands. Krishnan, I'm only 1 minute for you and 1 minute for Deepak Sethi. So you have to be very quick.
I'll speak next class. No problem.
Okay, 1 minute is not enough for you. Okay, fine. We'll go to Deepak Sethi.
Yeah, no, mine was actually a comment on an earlier point. I couldn't unmute then, so I'm saying it now. This is about structuring of the class that you were saying. Your book is beautifully written. You're absolutely right. It's very lucid. But the interesting part is that it is the discussions that ensue and, your examples and all, which really add that additional value. So the kind of doubts people raise, and I know that you allow that space, like what Krishnan said and what Maumita said, and then Anvesh and Samta and all, those kind of interventions help everybody else also, because all of us also are somewhere in that zone per se. So I think the pace at which you're going and the way you are treating this book with getting people to intervene and ask questions, and that's our responsibility, then I think there is a lot more value to be had in the class and not just reading the book as a part of morning study or something.
Okay, good. Thank you. Because I'm always concerned, like, am I over?
No, I just wanted to assuage your concern and say that it is actually very productive and some responsibility rests on us to be able to keep on raising the relevant doubts.
Yes.
With the spirit of questioning and, clarifying doubts. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. 50% is with you, you guys. Don't leave it to me. 50% is your job. All right. So I guess that's it then for today. What have we covered today? We were talking about how it is our personal responsibility, and then we went to the point of how it is the sole pursuit. How can you not take it as your responsibility if that is your only pursuit? So it's a personal responsibility and a sole pursuit. Okay, so that's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow. Now, where we will meet tomorrow, we will need our tech team to tell us. Mahesh, is there any, are we going back to our original class, or are we continuing with this class? I mean, this Zoom link, or we don't know yet?
We don't know yet, but if it will be shared on the WhatsApp group. So if someone is not a member of the group, then please contact Bharat. And
Bharat, you'll put your number there, right? In case you don't ever find the number, it's there on the website too. So if you have any problems, always get in touch with this number. And our most devoted Bharat will answer you very patiently.
Okay. Ma'am, just one thing, you said it's our responsibility and we are not taking it. Does that mean that our mind has taken over and we are not able to see that it's our responsibility?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Janki ji.
Hari Om Janki ji.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Janki ji, thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Janki ji.